Patch 1.09 of Elden Ring was just released, and with it many balance adjustments were made, as well as a number of major bug fixes that have been long awaited by the community, including the IGN glitch and the Phantom Bloody Fingered D-Skill glitch. My name's Rust. I'm an Elden Ring content creator with an emphasis on PvP. I love doing deep dive breakdowns on the mechanics and intricacies of the game, but for this video I'll just be covering the updated changes for the greatsword weapon class. I strongly encourage you to look at my complete greatsword guide if you haven't seen it already. It contains everything that you need to know about the greatsword weapon class, as a lot of that information will be relevant to this video. FromSoft has a very shitty reputation for patch notes, usually with mistranslations or a lack of detail. This one's no different. One major point of contention was the damage nerf to two-handed weapon jumping attacks. This was in fact a mistranslation, and actually is meant to just apply to power stance weapons. The greatsword class has always been fundamentally reliant on jump attacks as its gap closer, given its piss-poor running attacks, and in regards to the Knight's greatsword, the jump attacks gave quick and reliable access to its true combos, either through baiting a whiff and punishing counter-aggression, or dead-angling a jump attack itself. However, the Claw Talisman and Raptor's Feathers chest piece did receive substantial nerfs in this patch, and it's rather debatable if the Claw Talisman is even worth keeping in your talisman pouch for this update. The biggest change related to this patch was the increased speed of nearly all of the greatsword weapon classes' attacks. Each of the greatsword's running attacks, both one-handed and two-handed, were spread up by 3 frames, from 21 frames to 18 frames on the running R1, and 22 frames to 19 frames on its running R2. The standing two-handed R2 of the Knight's greatsword was sped up from 22 frames to 20 frames, and the one-handed R2 was sped up from 25 frames to 21 frames. Both crouch attacks from the Knight's greatsword variant were sped up by 1 frame. And the first swing of the standing R1 from both variants was sped up by 1 frame as well. The Claymore did not receive a speed increase to its crouch R1 or its R2, given that both of these moves were already functioning very well for the weapon as it is, and offer a unique bonus of access to counter damage through these attacks. So you might be saying to yourself, what's the big deal? 1 to 3 frames faster attacks, why should I care? Well, the major downfall of the weapon has always been its ability to whiff punish without making a risky prediction that only got more harrowing on high latency. The extra frames given to the running attacks allow for a very effective mix-up option when trying to get in close to your opponent. Now you have the option to start baiting, and a tool that allows you significantly more freedom of space and timing to punish a mistake from your opponent. An example of how this would be done would be as simple as baiting an attack with an empty jump, turning 180 degrees, and running R2 to punish something even as troublesome as their halberd running attack. The increased speed of the attack allows for a better lateral tracking when free aiming your movement to land some very tight dead-angled attacks that you would otherwise never be able to pull off. Now it's important to note here that none of the true combos of the greatsword were affected by this patch. The R2, although faster, still is about 4 frames short of being able to true combo into anything, and the standing R2 gives you access to its R1-2, which gives you access to the true combos on a Knight's greatsword. In terms of inventory management, the principles still apply as the ones covered in the greatsword guide. However, it's debatable now whether or not the Claw Talisman is still viable. Bleed and Blood Mask were nerfed, but as far as I know, no nerfs were made to the Rod Exaltation or the Mushroom Crown, so running a strength build with access to Rot and self-inflicted status with roped fetid pots still remains a viable strategy for increasing your damage output with little to no downside in return. Greatswords are still heavily reliant in their ability to be able to trade in order to win a fight, despite its moveset upgrade, so any amount of extra damage or defenses that you can stack, the better. I have 2 setups listed here, one more oriented toward a Knight's greatsword setup, and the other more optimized for Claymore. These setups are purely focused on greatswords, which in itself is a poor strategy, and if you really want to make a good build that incorporates greatswords, then you need other options to help you deal with things like mages, light rollers, and people that actually know their spacing. That's all I have for you today. For the rest of the video, I'll be showcasing how these changes have affected the greatsword's ability to approach, and questionably, optimal use of the weapon. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe, and please go check out Amelia, or otherwise known as Soviet Spaceship, over on Twitch. She's the one who collected and sorted out all the frame data for this patch update, and the extent of how much she does for this community is absolutely insane. Now, enjoy the rest of the video.
Nope. 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 Nope.